Pictographs. Pictograph, pictograph, woo! Pictograph, pictograph, woo! All right, pictographs. Interpreting and analyzing pictographs. This week, we're going to be able to interpret and analyze pictographs. So let's review what a pictograph is. Pictographs are another way to show data that we've collected. So you have a title. So in this one, it's called Number of Bookmarks Made. It also has labels that tells me the different categories that we were looking at. So with this graph in particular, we were looking at who the students and how many bookmarks that they made. Now, each bookmark that's shown represents 2 bookmarks. So if you look at Betty, we could easily count them by twos and say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I know that Betty makes 12 bookmarks. So now if I have half a bookmark, what do you think that means? If you think that it means that half of a bookmark equals 1 bookmark, you are 100% correct. Give yourself a pat on the back. Very good. So key in a pictograph is so important because it tells you exactly what each picture represents, and that's a very, very, very important part of a pictograph. So we're going to look at some pictographs and we're going to analyze them. So let's go ahead and look. And it says, what does each clock on the pictograph represent? Well, what that question's asking is what does each clock stand for? So if I look at the bottom, it tells me here, each clock equals 2 hours. So I know every clock that's on my pictograph stands for 2 hours of time. How many total hours do teachers and doctors work? So what I'm going to have to do is I have to figure out how many hours each of them works, and then I'm going to add those 2 numbers together. So I'm going to start with teacher because that's the first one that's listed. So I'm going to find it on my pictograph. Now I know each clock is 2 hours. So I'm going to count by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, and then I have half a clock. Half a clock, so half of 2 hours would be 1 hour. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So a teacher works about 9 hours a day. Let's see what a doctor works. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I'm going to add 9 hours plus 10 hours, which gives me 19 hours. So 19 hours is how many hours teachers and doctors would work together. What is the difference in hours worked between lawyers and zookeepers? Now, if I want to find the difference, I'm going to want to subtract. So, lawyers and zookeepers. So let's find out how many lawyers have. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So lawyers have 14 hours, and I'm going to subtract because I want to find the difference. Zookeepers, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So 14 minus 10 would equal 4. So we know that there's a 4-hour difference in what the 2 work. Who works the most hours? I can do this question by just looking at the pictograph. And I know here that the lawyer has the most clocks shown, which is going to mean that the lawyer works the most hours. Who works the least hours? Well, I can look here and I can see, the lawyer worked the most. Doctors and teachers are about the same, 2, 4, 6, 7. So right here, cashiers work the least amount of hours. Now, one way you could also do this is you could count them all out and do like little symbols, like I'm going to write D for doctor. And then if I counted it out, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, a doctor works 10 hours. L for lawyer, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 14 hours. A cashier, 2, 4, 6 plus half of 1. So that would be 7 hours. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So a teacher works 9 hours. and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So a zookeeper does 10. So I could use that to actually answer both of my questions if I looked at all of them. So which one works the least hours? The cashier. And if I was looking at the most hours, I could see that it would be the lawyer that worked the most hours. So if you do like a little key, and I just put the first letter of each little career, and I was able to answer both of those questions by doing this. How many hours do all of the careers work together? Now, you will get questions like this. And when it wants to know how many hours or what it's asking for all together, I want you to add them all together. So now that I've written all of these out, I can use this to answer this question. So I want to know how many hours does it take for all these careers to work. So let's see. A doctor is 10 and a zookeeper is 10. So if I add those together, 10 plus 10 is 20. So I'm going to cross those off because I added them together. Now I'm going to add, oops, sorry, I want you guys to be able to see. So now I'm going to add, sorry, I can't get this right. My lawyer, which is 14. So now I'm up to 34. All right, let's add my cashier. 34 plus 7, that gets me to 41. So 41 hours plus my teacher hours of 9 gives me 50. So altogether, they did 50 hours. So I just added all of them together, and I crossed them off as I added them, so I knew I counted them all. So 50 hours for all of them together. Now it's your turn to practice. So I'm going to give you some questions, and you're going to have to answer them. And then we'll talk about it once you answer them. So looking at the first one here. Hold on, let me get me out of the way. Here we go. Okay. The pictograph below shows the number of boots a shoe store sold on 4 different days of the week. So your question is, how many more pairs of boots did the store sell on Wednesday than Thursday? All right, so if you did Wednesday and Thursday, to answer this question, what you should have done is subtract. So if Wednesday had 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 boots, it sold 30 boots, and Thursday sold 5, 10, 15, 20, then there would be a difference of 10 pairs of boots because 30 minus 20 would be 10. Question 2. The pictograph below shows the number of boots a shoe store sold on 4 different days of the week. So let's look at the question. Same graph, different question. How many pairs of boots were sold on Wednesday and Thursday combined? Okay, well, I already know that 30 were sold on Wednesday, 20 were sold on Thursday. 30 plus 20 should have been 50, so your answer should have been 50. The pictograph below shows the number of ice cream cones that were sold in an elementary school. So here's your question. On which day were the most ice creams sold? All right, so if we look, we know the key shows us, hold on, it's hidden right now. That one ice cream picture shows 10 ice creams. So you should have picked Friday as the most ice cream sold. Same graph, different question. How many more ice cream cones were sold on Wednesday than on Monday? All right, so what you should have done for this one is you're going to subtract Wednesday from Monday. So on Wednesday, I have 2 ice cream cones, which means Wednesday had 20 ice creams sold. And on Monday, we have 1 ice cream cone and then half of one. So that's 10 plus half of one, which would be 5, which would be 15. So it would be 20 minus 15, which means that there were 5 more ice creams sold on Wednesday than on Monday. Who collected the fewest number of baseball cards? All right, by looking at our pictograph, you should have picked Leo had collected the fewest number of baseball cards. And question 6, What is the difference between the number of cards Kevin collected and the number of cards that Leo collected? Well, I want to look at the key. Each baseball is 4 cards. So let's go ahead and work this one out because 4 is a sillier number that we haven't worked a lot with. So, oops, sorry for the noise. All right, so we want to know the difference, which means we're subtracting that Kevin collected. So I'm going to look at Kevin. He has 4 baseballs. So if I counted by 4s, it would be 4, 8, 12, 16, and then half of 4 is 2, so 17, 18. So Kevin had 18 cards that he had collected, and Leo had 4, 8. So Leo had collected 8. So I'm going to subtract the 2. So 18 take away 8 would be 10. So the difference between the number of cards that Kevin collected than Leo would be 10 cards. There was a 10 cards difference. So you guys did a great job this week on pictographs. So keep up the fantastic job. If you have any questions on pictographs and answering questions about pictographs, please let us know.